Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Bakemonogatari, but today I'm going to be checking out episode 12, Tsubasa Cat Part 2, and last time on Tsubasa Cat Part 1, we learned a little bit more about the aforementioned Tsubasa, learned about her past and how it connected to Araragi, because we heard a little bit about that like way back in like episode 1, something about her and a cat, and well, we got to see that in full force, because as it turns out, she had some problems at home, some very, very serious ones that caused her a lot of stress, and that stress manifested in her getting possessed by an evil cat spirit that caused her to transform into a full-on Neko girl in the middle of the night, pounce on people, and drain the life out of them. This eventually culminated in her encountering Araragi in the middle of the night, and just before he was about to get sucked, Shinobu jumps out of the shadows and gets Tsubasa first, draining the energy out of her. Well, that is to say, she drained the stress out of her. She somehow, while sucking her blood, sucked the stress clean out of her body, causing her to return back to normal and be fine. Because apparently, the cat's powers are similar enough to a vampire's in that, they drain life, that it kind of countered it in a way that allowed her to revert to normal. Pretty convenient. But now, it unfortunately looks like that stress is beginning to build up in Tsubasa once again, so Night of the Werecat might be making a return. But for now, let's just see how that goes. Back to the lunch break. A lunch break? So there you have it. Tsubasa Cat Part 2. Not really so much, but hey, a good episode in its own right. Senjugahara and Araragi had a nice date. It was really tense on the way there. Didn't quite know what to expect of the date. He was just kind of dragged along into that car, and then her dad drove him there, and they had some of their typical conversations, And her dad was, he was just being considerate. He didn't want to say anything on the way there unless prompted. Because, what more would he have said? He waited for the right moment to speak, and he said some encouraging things. He definitely endorsed him right there. He's like, hey, if you're the one my daughter picked, then you're the one, man. Good to go. So it seems like the stars are really aligning for old Araragi. She spelled out the future for him pretty clear. Nothing but smooth sailing and clear skies awaiting. As good as this episode was in its own right, why do I feel like this is going to be one of those videos that most people just skip clean past, Feel free to prove me wrong, though, if you didn't skip it, then thanks. I don't know, maybe not. Bakemonogatari, part of the essence of this is that romantic build-up, so hey, you wanted to watch Bakemonogatari? This is Bakemonogatari. So yeah, as much of a deviation as it was from Tsubasa Cat Part 1, it completely went off the rails and started doing something else, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I didn't expect it because they've never done that before. This is completely new for Bakemonogatari. It was always just, 2-3 episodes, that's the arc, and then we move on to the next thing. But this one flipped the script a bit, and they even changed the intro to accompany that, which was a really nice touch, honestly. They could have kept the same intro because it's even still labeled Tsubasa Cat Part 2, so they could have kept the intro, but they didn't. They made it the Senjugahara one, because this was definitely a Senjugahara episode. So yeah, kind of weird that it deviated off like that, but it's not bad, just unexpected. And that unexpectedness kind of played into the elements of the episode itself, in that it was unexpected for Araragi. That even to him, this came out of complete nowhere. She's just like, hey, let's go on a date. And then he shows up for the date, she drags him along, and then, it's one surprise after the next when it came to that. But so I guess it's fitting. It's apt that it just popped in the middle of an arc like this, because even for Araragi, that's what happened to him. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say on the matter. So for now, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. You know what to do. Next time, episode 13, Tsubasa Cat Part 3. Or you could just call it Part 2, because this one wasn't really about Tsubasa Cat, but it didn't really need to be, did it? Where I'm guessing we're going to get back to the Tsubasa elements of this. I'm wondering if, because of that Part 2 wasn't about Tsubasa, is this going to be a 4-parter or something? I mean, if not, then it's basically just another two-parter. I mean, it's hard to say how quickly they'll wrap this up because we only just barely begun with it before. I mean, even part 1 was mostly focused on what happened to her in the past and not what's going on with her right now. All we know right now is that she's stressing out again, she's getting the headaches back, which means the cat could return. So it's hard to say because the problem hasn't happened. Usually Araragi shows up mid-problem and then he can help fix it, but now he's not mid-problem. He's before it, where if they don't play their cards right, it could happen again, which is one of the more unique elements of this one so far. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe there's gonna be a part 4, possibly, but I mean, that's the weird thing because there's only 3 episodes left after this, 13, 14, 15. If they make the next one the last one, that could mean a 2-episode arc at the end, or they could go 2 more and then an epilogue. Those 2 are the most likely, and at this point, probably even the only ones possible, really, unless they drag it out all the way through episode 15, which is probably not gonna happen. Anyway, as I said, that's it for now, guys. Hope to catch you next time, but till then, I will see you guys all later.